Welcome to The Road Reflected with Nicole Wakelin. Automotive from the lighter side. That means cars, but also cookies, coffee, and pie. Up first, what's Nicole behind the wheel of this week?
Okay, this week I'm driving a 3-row luxury SUV.
Ooh.
I'm driving the Infiniti QX60.
Nice.
Yeah, I like it. So Infiniti is a luxury brand. It's Nissan's fancy brand.
Mm-hmm.
And the QX60, 3 rows, and it comes in a couple of different trims. I had the Autograph, which is officially the top trim in the lineup.
Is there actually an autograph in it?
No, but they do write the word autograph on
Like
the
an
back,
autograph?
on the back of the seats, like the front and middle row seats. They have it written in it, and it does kind of look
I feel like
an
the design engineer, whoever should be signing the autograph in the autograph.
actually autographing it.
Yeah, right.
Like an official. I don't think there's an
Right.
official autograph anywhere, but that's as close as you're going to get as it says autographed.
Okay.
In a fancy script. So 3 rows. Big SUV, plenty of room for your family. You can either get it with a bench seat or with second row captain's chairs, but there's only seating for 2 in the third row. So it's either 6 or 7, depending on how you have it configured.
Still pretty roomy.
It's still pretty roomy. Yeah, there's a lot of room in it. One of the things I like is that for the third row to get into it, I mean, that's always the trick, right? Like, how do you get into the third row of the SUV? How many levers, straps, buttons, knobs do you need to pull to get into the third row? And just how much does it make you work to lift up the seat? Which doesn't sound like a big deal, but it is a pain in the neck sometimes to get access to that row. I love on the bottom, like on the where your butt sits, like on the side there, the little button, you push the little button, boop, and it tips and comes forward. And then you can slide it physically even a little bit more forward. But the whole thing moves right out of the way.
Yeah.
So it makes it very easy. Pretty easy to get back there. I feel like you at 6'3",
It's squishy, but you can still do it.
you could do it, but it'd be a tight squeeze to get back there because it's only so much room.
Yes.
And then once you're there, the thing is, if the floor is not as low as the way SUVs work, so your knees are going to be high. So if someone tall like you, you're going to find it a little bit squished.
Probably. I don't normally. I try not to get in the back of cars for that exact reason. Sometimes the leg room is tricky sometimes, and getting back there oftentimes is tricky.
Exactly. So, for you, it might be kind of tricky to get back there, but I feel like for the majority of people, it's going to be fine getting back there. Yeah. And there is also, and I love this, because the number of times I've been left behind, like when we're going somewhere and we've used all 3 rows in an SUV, like especially on media programs, so we're all a bunch of us there, right? And I'm in the third row, and it's like, guys, I can't get out. Guys, hello. And they hop out of the car when we get to dinner or whatever. There's a button on the back of the second row that's literally so that the third row passenger can push and let themselves out.
Oh, nice. So you can
free
you
yourself.
Can't get trapped in the back.
You can't get trapped. You can free yourself
That's
from
nice.
the third row of the Infiniti QX60. I appreciate little features like this. Having been the one that's like knocking on the window, like, I cannot get out. Let me out.
Right.
So that's a neat feature. And of course, you get all the fancy SUV stuff that you would expect.
That's what you would expect from a brand with 3 eyes and no eyes.
Infiniti. Oh, yeah. Okay.
But no Y.
But no Y.
Even though there normally would be an Infinity.
Look at you with the spelling skills as an engineer.
Sometimes I get lucky.
Wow, that's the only thing he spelled right this
Well, in
entire
math, we use
year.
Infinity a lot, so it does look weird
This
with
one
no Y.
strikes out to you.
Yeah, it jumps
It's the
out.
one word you can accurately
Yes.
spell because you're an
Yes.
engineer?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
Fair enough. So I like this. I like how it looks. I feel like a lot of what you get in an SUV or any vehicle when it's a luxury vehicle is how it looks. Like, if I want a super powerful vehicle, sure. But if I want a luxury vehicle, there's a certain element to a luxury anything that you want people to know you're driving a luxury vehicle.
yeah.
Right? It's partly for you because you want all the snazzy that's inside.
Yeah.
But it's partly, you can get a lot of snazzy in the top trims of more mass markety kind of brands. But the snazzy you get in a luxury vehicle is a little something more.
Infinity kind of makes a statement when you roll up, usually in their vehicles.
Exactly. And you want people to know. So like you're buying this brand because you want it to look like something special, and you want people to know that you've arrived. You've been able to afford something a little special.
Right.
And when you look at the Infiniti, when you open the door, I mean, this one has sort of I almost call it a saddle brown leather interior.
Ooh, saddle brown.
It's really pretty, and it's got quilted diamond stitch pattern on the seats.
Diamond stitch.
Just like that.
You're right.
And that same leather is on the dashboard and it's on the doors. And there's also like an open pore wood, it's almost like a blackish grayish wood.
Wood.
Okay, enough there, Mr. Announcer. So things, it looks like what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
I think it's important for a luxury vehicle to look like what it's supposed to be. And I also think it's important for a luxury vehicle to feel that way when you're actually
You
sitting
definitely
in the
want,
seats.
I mean, when you are trying to make a statement like I've arrived, you want the vehicle you're going to purchase that has that to really, when people look at it, go, ooh, you spent a lot, but you got a lot. It's a nice vehicle. It's got nice style. You can go out to dinner with valet parking and feel like you're going to be cool looking and not like driving up in a car that's not really meant to be there.
Right,
kind of
you're not
thing.
driving up to the fancy restaurant and like
You don't
an
feel
old beat-up with
underdressed
rust.
in your vehicle.
You do not
per se.
feel underdressed. Yes.
Right.
So it's a beautiful car, really comfortable. I mean, it's super comfy. It would be great
Mm-hmm.
for a road trip. Very roomy in the first row and the second row. Those second row captain's chairs are fabulous. They're pretty much they feel almost as good as the front seats.
Yes, exactly. It was very much, the car is comfortable. You can just look at it from the distance and see that comfort. It's really nice. I think there's, the inside, as you mentioned, is so luxurious that you just kind of want to sit it and bask.
Exactly. I feel like you could take a nap. This is the car when you have to wait for the kids.
Yeah, you
at
don't mind.
soccer practice. You can recline the front seats. You're like, you take as long
I'll
as
just sit
you want.
here and scroll on my phone for a minute and enjoy the plush leather.
Exactly. And it has, it does, as far as driving it, the other part that's the luxury part of this, it's quiet.
Mm-hmm.
It's smooth.
No road noise.
No, it's very, very quiet, which is what a luxury car is supposed to be. You're
Exactly.
sort of supposed to feel like you're ensconced in something kind of special. And the outside world is very much outside, not bothering you right now.
How's what under the hood? Does it also feel special?
3.5 liter V6.
Okay.
295 horsepower, 270 pound-feet of torque, and a 9-speed auto. So
Respectable. I mean, it's a heavy vehicle, but it's respectable.
Right, it's respectable, but you're not buying this for
Yeah,
its
for Zoom.
performance.
No, yeah.
So I feel like there's that balance. This isn't a performance brand; it's a luxury brand,
Right.
and I feel like it delivers on that. But it's still not something that you drive it. You think, oh gosh, I'm not going to be able to merge into traffic, or this just does not have enough oomph to give me extra speed to pass once you're up to highway speeds. It's fine. It does really, really well. It's responsive. It's quiet. And it's powerful. It's not a race car. It's not a performance car. But that, again, is not why you're buying a luxury SUV. And I really like the Infiniti QX60. Now, as far as pricing, how much do you think it would cost? If you had to guess, what if you had to guess? Because I didn't put the dollar in the
I would
show
guess
notes.
it's pretty pricey because it's Infinity. So I'm thinking we're in the.
Throw a number out there. Let's see.
I'm going
how
to
close
go
you
like
come.
we're in the 70s.
Oh, really? It's
Yeah.
close. All told, this one is $69,240.
I feel like I nailed that.
Yeah, nice.
Rounding up, but I went over. So my Price is Right rules I lost.
You lost.
But I was very close.
Yeah, so that's pretty good. So all of this for basically about $70,000.
That's fair.
So it's not an inexpensive
I mean,
vehicle.
that's a
but
lot of money, but it is
a lot of money, but it's a
again, you're
luxury
trying.
car.
You make it a statement. You want to be luxury. You got plenty of room for a nice big crew or family.
Right.
It's a lot going on there.
And I like that it has a really good storage too. It's got you have a family. You're in a vehicle like this. You need a million spots to tuck all the little tiny things that you take with you.
Yeah.
It has a giant center console up front. It has little storage in the back.
You got lots of cup holders.
You got lots of cup holders.
That's
and
critical.
There's also
Don't mess with
even
my cup holder.
underneath the center console up front, there's an open area that you could put like your wallet, you could put keys, you could put a lot of stuff. So there's
Extra bottled
lots-
beverages.
Extra bottle, yeah. All sorts of spots for you to tuck away extra
Right.
stuff. So I appreciated that when an SUV gives you plenty of places to put all your stuff, because if you got a whole crew of kids, you're probably going to have a whole bunch of stuff to bring along with them. Hey everyone, if you like what you're hearing, then go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe either on YouTube or your favorite podcatcher.
And don't forget to leave us positive reviews on iTunes. Just the positive ones. For the negative ones, just keep them to yourself. It's fine.
Yeah, just keep that stuff to yourself.
Yeah.
So the other thing I want to talk about is something that's driven me nuts on two cars. One that you experienced, one that you did not.
Mm-hmm.
So it's on the Volkswagen ID7,
Okay.
and it's also on the Lincoln Nautilus that I recently drove.
I don't think I was in a Nautilus.
No, the Lincoln Nautilus, it was
I would have
all
spoken about
new.
the name.
Yeah, you would have.
I'd have been like, Jules Verne, I get
Yeah.
to ride in Nautilus. You'd be like, no, it's a car. I'd be like, oh, man. Yeah, that's what
Sorry
happened.
about that.
Yes.
That one we just did the first drive of that in Palm Springs in California, and the
Yeah.
drive impressions, we can't really talk about how it drove for a little bit
So
longer.
Secret Squirrel stuff.
Secret Scroll stuff, but you can buy one right now, so it's not
Mm-hmm.
like this car is under wraps. One of the things it has really cool infotainment setup.
Yeah.
And so does the ID7.
Okay.
And one of the other things that it has is controls that are buried into the infotainment system. One of those controls that is hidden in the infotainment system is the vents. The air vents. So if you want to...
Oh, I do.
You
not
remember
like
this in the Volkswagen?
I know where you're going.
Okay,
Yes.
so you're driving along, everything's perfect. You have the right amount of cold air blowing at your face in a warm summer day,
Mm-hmm.
and then all of a sudden the sun pops out even brighter from
Mm-hmm.
behind a cloud. Now the sun is directly in your face, and you're hot. It's really hot. You want to just reach out and aim that vent at your face for a second.
Yeah.
You can't.
No.
Instead, you have to go into the infotainment system, and it's only a couple of taps, but you go into the infotainment system, and then you tap on the screen for the vent that you want to adjust, and you drag it to where you want it to be.
Yeah, and it does many of the cars have like little icons or like vector graphics showing the direction of flow. Now, some vehicles, they align all the vents this way. So as you drag the screen, like it shows multiple vents pointing at you, or some vehicles you pick vent by vent, like you were talking about.
This is each individual vent, and the Nautilus, and I believe the Volkswagen.
Terrible idea.
It's awful.
Oh, it's the worst. Who is designing this?
And they did one, I think they thought one better, and I guess it is better to their credit.
No.
Not only can you adjust the individual vents on the Nautilus, they also have an oscillating thing, so the vents will think like an oscillating fan. Yeah, but you know how irritating it is to have an oscillating fan blowing your hair as you're driving?
Look, guys, you can't bury this stuff in the infotainment system. It just doesn't work. Like if you the problem you have is now you've distracted the driver trying to find their vent adjustment. You're going to bury through it. Even if I know the car well and know this is still 2 or 3 taps, and then I have to look at the screen and move my finger on some kind of virtual joystick situation when I could just grab the vent and move it. And if you really have to show the world how clever you are and put motors in a vent, which we do not need, but let's just say we did need that for some reason.
Oh, you're on an engineering rant almost.
Then if you have to, my product manager hat is on now, and you are making the user experience worse. If you must do this, if you have to show this off, just like you talked about this the other day, there was this brief period of time where automotive manufacturers felt the need to remove the volume dial from the radio and bury it in the audio system somewhere. And everybody wanted their audio dial back. Same with this. If you have to automate it and make it cool with motors, okay, but make a physical control for it within reach of the driver that is bespoke for that purpose.
And these don't have it. And, I thought when I had it on the Volkswagen ID7, which I did not have that long ago, that's pretty recent memory. It was also like that on the Rivian R1S that I had back last summer. I thought, and initially in the Rivian, I remember thinking this is the coolest thing ever. And then as I was driving, and it's summertime, and you have the moments where the sun is right in your face, and it's not. But then you know what everybody said to me?
What?
They said this, how often do you adjust your vents?
All the time.
Constantly.
Yeah. When you're different heights, when you're trying to get your air blowing down or up, or let's say the passenger wants it to blow harder, and so you're moving yours away from your face and vectoring them towards the passenger so they can have more heat, whatever. You know what this is like? It's like, so the rear facing, the mirrors on the doors, the rear view, not the
side view mirrors.
Side view mirrors, yeah, thank you.
That's
the side view mirrors, right? Back in the day, the side view mirrors had those manual sticks coming through the window, and they were manual. And then somewhere along the way, we thought we should automate this, and we created little joy pads in the driver door, usually with a toggle between left and right, which is fine. But you know what you wouldn't do is take that control and bury it in the infotainment. And I'm sure someone has already done this, and it's stupid.
Yeah.
Because now I got to go find that thing when I need a quick adjustment. I'm about to pass somebody, and I realize my daughter was driving the car before me, and the mirror's low. Like, I don't have time to dilly-dally around. People's lives are on the line, literally.
No dilly-dallying.
No, this is serious business. The vents and mirrors, don't mess with that.
I asked the folks at Lincoln, I said, hey, guys, so you've just
By
done
the way,
this.
you said rant here, so I'm trying to help out.
Yeah, okay. You ranted. Nice rant.
Hey.
So I asked the folks at Lincoln, I said, is there a design reason why we've done this? Like, is there a reason you click, well, it's better, or they think it's better because, and it was really just, the answer was just sort of, well, because of because it's a technology focused car and information that's already out there. It has like a 48-inch screen across the dashboard in addition to the infotainment screen. So it's very tech focused car. They said, so we put the tech, but the ID7 did it and so did the Rivian. And I didn't like it in any of them. I don't like, I feel like there's a spot where you've got to stop shoving all the controls into the infotainment screen.
I'm just saying, if you're going to say because it's better, product manager to product manager, I want to see the market research where you interviewed people and they came back and said, this is the thing.
Well, that's what I genuinely wondered.
Do it. No one.
Because if you drive a car with events that you can't physically manipulate, that you have to go into the infotainment screen, you think at first you're like, super cool. And then 5 minutes into driving, super not cool.
Yeah. Maybe on paper, if you never had the person drive the car and adjust the vent.
So, like,
but as soon as you drive and adjust, no one's going to want that.
What test group did this? Like, well, you know what? And you can do presets. Like, you can have it set so you can have it set the way you want it all the time. But I have no preset. No. Depending on the day,
this is a bad idea. It's like the volume knob. It's a bad idea.
Yeah. So that's the latest thing. And I don't understand. There's some things I like a touchscreen for. There's some things I don't. like give us a volume knob, give us vents
We
that
need
we can
dedicated
actually
vent
grab
controls on the dash.
and adjust. I don't want to have to dig around for
Either in the vents or on the vents or next to the vents.
a
Something.
little knob, little lever, and you can still make it all streamlined. Like some of them, some vents, like on purpose, they look in your face and they stand out from the dashboard and they look like dials inside of like a cockpit of a plane. Others, they're so streamlined that you don't really even see them. They're very hidden. They don't have to be these loud in your face things. They just need to be something that you can actually put your hands out and grab without having to go into the touch screen. Hey, wait, did we just drive by a bakery? Okay, so last week we became aware of a pizza place that has apparently been open for the better part of a year, which always makes, I'm such a foodie and I love going to check stuff out. And I thought, how on earth did I miss that this even existed?
Oh, good pizza's hard to find. And much like a bakery, which this segment's normally about, pizza's like baking because the crust, it's all about the crust. Although, as we're about to discuss, there are some other things that are very important on a good pizza.
Yes. So we found a place called Ricochet.
Yeah.
And it's a pizza place. They do not do that. That's just his addition. Please don't think the folks at Ricochet do that. And it's in Derry, New Hampshire.
Yeah. It's much more upscale than that. Yeah.
Cute little, like, hip and trendy pizza place. And they have a pizza that has pepperoni on it. But that's nothing new, right? But it is pepperoni. Like, you can't see the cheese.
Yeah. So good pepperoni pizza, this is what we're going to talk about here in a minute. Good pepperoni pizza should, when they cook it up, right, it should curve. Like the pepperoni.
Make a little bowl.
Like you can either get the giant pepperoni that's like salami, which is also good.
Yes.
But this is the little pepperoni.
Like the size of a quarter.
And when you get it really going, it curves up and gets all crispy on the edge.
It makes a little pot of oil.
Each little bowl gets a little pot of oil. And what you want is a situation where you really almost can't see the cheese. It's just solid pepperoni.
And that's what this was.
Edge. And they
weren't just thrown all over. They were all like carefully placed. So there were no sideways, half cut, messy looking. And they were sort of thick. Like they were thicker cut. And they put some kind of seasoning, maybe Parmesan cheese.
It was some kind of, I think it was a
top.
mixed like Romano Parmesan situation.
Yeah. So it was like the most amazing pepperoni pizza I've ever had.
Very hard to find this level of pepperoni
so good, but so
cooking.
heavy.
Without being too greasy. And it wasn't like swimming in the grease, which was impressive.
Because it was a nice cheese. Like the cheese wasn't a cheap cheese. It was nice. It wasn't super
nice cheese,
oily.
nice pepperoni. So it wasn't overly oily.
Right.
Like, really good.
And it was, and a sort of a really thin crust that was delicious.
A very thin, nice, crispy crust.
Not quite like a flatbread.
No, not like a flatbread. And
it didn't break like a cracker, but it was definitely a thin
but it
crust.
also, you couldn't really fold it like New York style. It was somewhere in the middle.
It held it. You could hold it as just a triangle. And
it just kind of held it.
It maintained its integrity.
It could. It was pretty big too.
It's pretty good. So they were so much pepperoni on it. It reminded me a little bit of how when you go to Chicago and you have a deep dish pizza, like one piece is a meal. One piece of this pizza was
because
a lot.
of the pepperoni density. One piece would fill you up pretty.
One piece would fill you up. Now we hadn't been there before, and they had some kind of, I forget exactly what they called it, but they had a cheesy bread, and I thought it was going to be like a cheesy bread, like maybe a little basket.
It is called big garlic bread, or something like that.
Like a couple rolls in a basket, or maybe a small little. No, it was a large pizza essentially. But without any sauce. It just had the cheese and the garlic.
Cheese and garlic. It was delicious, but we basically had two pizzas.
We inadvertently ordered a large cheese and garlic pizza, essentially, and a large pepperoni pizza. And then, we had so much pizza.
It took me a week to work that off.
It was really good. But now, like, it's like a week later, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm really craving this stupid pizza.
Now I want to go back for dinner.
I know, but we have stuff planned for dinner.
Plans can change.
Plans can change.
Well, okay. One thing about this restaurant. So what I really liked about this restaurant in general, and this is a good advice for restaurateurs out there, which I all know they know this, but the vibe of this restaurant was really nice because not only was it clearly a pizza place first, but had some other nice things like meatballs and stuff. But they had a really nice sort of upscale bistro-y kind of vibe.
It felt a little bit coffee shop in terms of decor.
It had nice decor walls, and they were growing the herbs right in this like hydroponic situation on the wall, which is cool. But my favorite part,
I know where you're going,
was they had two giant TVs. One obviously showing whatever the sports ball game of the day is, but the other one had Bob
Ross.
Bob Ross. Thank you, Bob. I want to say Bob Vila for some reason. Wrong Bob.
Wrong Bob.
Bob Ross on loop, which is great, just painting different stuff. And Bob is so chill. And it just immediately sets the vibe for the restaurant. It's just a complete vibe. And everybody, you can't help but watch Bob Ross paint because it's kind of like mesmerizing.
And it wasn't on, like I couldn't hear it.
You couldn't hear it.
But
it's
just watching
Bob
him, you're like,
paintings,
oh, Bob's
happy
painting.
little trees here and there.
Zoning out to the happy little
like,
trees.
It just creates an immediate vibe that is so cool. And I was like, how come no one's thought of this before?
They had a Bob Ross like stuffed plushie doll.
They had a Bob Ross
sitting
plushie in the
bar,
corner. Like clearly someone's a huge Bob Ross fan. But
well, and apparently they even did a fundraiser for a local charity where you got points for dressing up.
Yes,
like
people came
Bob
dressing
Ross.
up like Bob Ross, and then they played an episode.
And you had to
Bob,
paint whatever it was.
And you had to paint whatever Bob was doing, and then they judged whoever did the best job.
Right, so you had
of
no
painting
idea.
and looking like Bob.
They gave you the paints and stuff. You show
brilliant.
up, and it's like whoever does the best job of painting the happy little trees that he does that episode.
But what a wonderful way to create a specific vibe that is so unique for your restaurant. And then, of course, they have killer pizza, which is wonderful, and killer beers, and it's a great little bar and everything. And it's just a great package.
It was fun because
really nice.
pizza places tend to be like, if you go for like your old school New York style pizza, and it's a pizza
we have a Sal's
joint,
up here, which
right?
is like that's like a
great pizza, but there's absolutely no atmosphere to the place.
Yeah, it's
right?
very like it's like a good
it's
fish shop.
linoleum
Like it's just like
that's older than you are on the floors.
It's not dirty, but it's not decorated. It's just nothing there
fancy.
besides you walk in, you get your pizza. You leave.
Right?
That's what you do.
It's not about the atmosphere, it's about getting good pizza.
Right.
And those are fine. And they're literally just pizza places.
Right.
And pizza garlic bread, sometimes subs, right?
Yeah, pizza garlic subs. I mean, that's what they usually serve.
But this one, or then sometimes you go to pizza places and they're fancier, they're more artisan pizza.
So like upscale Italian.
Right. But then they're
pizza
fancier.
places.
Then you're like, I don't want snooty. I don't want.
And then they feel the need to, like, they don't do a pure pepperoni because that's too pedestrian.
It's too just
so they have to
oh.
do like really cool fig stuff, which by the way, these guys had. Like they had a fig and honey, and they had a hot honey one, and they had ones that are the upper scale kind, but they also had the basics.
Yes.
And they clearly killed it on the basics.
It was amazing. It was just like this forest of pepperoni on this pizza. But I appreciate that they gave you all this really good pizza, and that wasn't even like a pepperoni pizza is not fancy.
No.
But it was good pizza in an environment that felt a little upscale without being snooty. It's very unique in its atmosphere. And it was a little bit of a drive for us to get out there. I'd totally go back in a heartbeat.
It was like a 30-minute drive, which isn't bad because we go to nicer restaurants.
Dinner's currently in the freezer. I haven't taken it out yet. We could still go for pizza.
The dinner could stay in the freezer.
It could stay in the freezer.
And we could get pizza.
We could get a pepperoni pizza and more cheesy bread that's actually pizza too.
Thanks for listening to The Road Reflected. To follow more of Nicole Wakeland's adventures, head on over to NicoleWakeland.com. There you'll find links to her social media from TikTok to Twitter, as well as her work across a wide range of media outlets. Until next time, keep it shiny side up.